Hello and welcome back to video number 2 of the 100 Days Project 2018. When I left you, I was leaving you with B. I can't point properly. B. So we've talked about that one, so let's crack on. This must have been Friday the 13th, and there's a rough idea of what I was actually going to do. Unlucky things, ladders. Shoes on the table is fairly unlucky. I think that was probably going to be a mirror broken. There's a black cat at the top of some sort of wall. But obviously this wasn't working very well. The idea is sound. The execution, not so sound. Not so good. So 150 pages on this sketchbook. So I was just like, nah, it's alright. Start again. Boing. Yes. Day 11. Friday the 13th. There's plenty of things in there that are supposed to be unlucky. It's really weird. You sort of think there's going to be loads and loads and loads of things that are unlucky, but when you do a Google search of it, it's not actually that many. So like opening an umbrella, walking under a ladder, there's a magpie, black cat, horseshoe upside down, all the luck falls out of it. All your luck pours out of it if you hang it upside down. Broken mirror. That's actually based on a mirror that was hanging above our mantelpiece when I was a kid. Somehow it's imprinted itself upon me so that whenever I do have to draw a mirror hanging on a wall, it ends up being that mirror. There's some spilt salt. There's a Ouija board, and also the number 13 is supposed to be unlucky. In Japan, it's very unlucky to give clocks as a gift. So trying to draw that with a clock with a bow on a tag on it, looking like it's been given as a gift. Not bad, huh? These sort of grey lines, and I love this shadow, the shading, the shadowing underneath all of that lot, with a grey, like Copic marker, like a permanent marker type thing. I've got a load of different greys for it, and I think I went through about 3 packs doing the 100 days, which is crazy because they're quite expensive, but you know, you've got to spend money to make art, money, not any money. Hey, look, there's a giraffe. Or a giraffe, depending on how posh you want to be about the whole thing. If you remember back to the index at the beginning of the book, you'll see that I spelt giraffe horrifically with too many R's and some F's and all sorts of things. All of this malarkey is tea bags. It's one of my favourite things for putting in the background, and I completely forgot about it. I'd learnt about it when I was at college, like tea staining things to make them look old and stuff, and then if you do it on watercolor paper in the background, you also get like quite a nice chaotic shape to it, which you don't get even if you get like art sponges. They tend to look like you've done an art sponge on it, whereas this is more sort of haphazard. But at the same time, you can't get too close. You can't be too precise with any of it because it's basically you've got a tea bag in your hand and you just pa, roll, pa. I don't need to do that noise anymore. You get the general idea. He kind of looks a bit scarred. He looks like some sort of hardcore gangster dude, but actually that's the shape of his head, the shape of his noggin. Yeah, it's only when you start looking at animals to draw them that you realise how weird they are. I mean, look at his eyes. They're really weird. Kind of looks like something out of Star Wars, but then to me everything looks like something out of Star Wars. It looks like if you had another one in the middle there, he'd look like Rhys, the guy with 3 eyes. Rhys had a really bad headache that day, and it actually did physically think and feel like someone was chopping into my brain with something. Red pen. I bought a red pen because I thought if I'm going to put any colour into it, it's probably going to be red in it. Red and grey looks nice, smart, very 80s. I had a whole set of black and red furniture in my bedroom when I was a kid. Not important, just mentioning it. This today, day 14 in 2018. Me and daughter number 1 went to the beach with grandma, and we completely forgot to take a bucket and spade. So we had to use our hands because you can make things like that, can't you? Shh, put all the pat 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 pat, shh, pat 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 pat, shh, pat 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 pat, and make a space, things like that. I cracked the Close Encounters joke many times, but it went over my 4-year-old's head. This is important, this means something. Just like that. I'm going to go and get some shells. So she shoved some shells on it. Although they do, some of them do look like chocolates from a box of Black Magic. But they're not. They are actual real shells. And I used a bit of pointillism on this one. Won't be doing that again. Took ages. Ah! This guy's got a face on him. Usually when it's something that I look at and go, what was I thinking? It's like 10 to 12 and I haven't managed to do a drawing, so I've just gone, this guy will do. Yeah, that's just bobbins, absolute bobbins, don't worry about that one. C! Remember I was doing an alphabet? C. There's Catwoman. Really like that. Chips. Does everyone remember Chips? I used to play that when I was a kid. California Highway International Police Service or something. I can't remember what Chips stood for, but they were on motorbikes and that was cool. Ponch. Wasn't one of them called Poncho? Poncharello. Yeah. Cloverfield. Quite like that film. Liked it the first time I watched it. You can't really watch it again because you know what's going to happen, and you just sort of go, oh, come on, get on with the bit with the little parasites falling off the top and then attacking that, bites that woman and then her head explodes. Spoilers if you haven't seen Cloverfield. Cobra from off of the G.I. Joe. I wish I hadn't done that. There's no need for that. And if I had, I would move it across a bit that way so it's not quite as close to this square here. Actually, let's just take it out completely. Boink. There you go. Looks a lot better, right? Yeah. Anyway, the letter C in my ongoing alphabet. Look, I tried to start D. Oh, I tried to do some portraiture. My portraiture is absolute pants. I do try my best, but I really need to sort of knuckle down and get some proper portrait work done. And it's all about time. It's all about just sitting down and doing it. But it's, you know, when you do sort of have a spare 10 minutes, I'm usually doing like a commission or something else that I want to do. It's like going to school again. I'm like, okay, let's try and draw viable likenesses of human beings. This is not a viable likeness of any human being, which is why it was abandoned on the D. And I went, screw it. This looks like Disney writing, actually, doesn't it? It's not. It's meant to be calligraphy, but I was doing it without any calligraphy pens. I had a big, thick chisel tip permanent marker, which I thought, well, it's the same shape as a calligraphy pen. It should be easy, right? It's not really, because you're doing it with a big, thick permanent marker. So you're holding it like that and going, and it just looked terrible. So I had to edge all of it with a black fine liner. So I just like edged and I was just like, oh, well, that's not the point of bloody calligraphy, is it? You're meant to have a pen and it's meant to be all delicate and nice and oh, beautiful to read it. Sorry I'm late, having a shit bag of a day. Stephen Toast. I would try and do an impression of Stephen Toast, but I can't really do it. I know other people who can do it a lot better than me, so I won't even attempt. I'm not going to turn this round because I'm comfy. You know what you are? You're a beard with an idiot hanging off it. Bernard Black. Day 18. This was actually done with a calligraphy pen. What's that? Nothing. Done with a calligraphy pen, but again, I mean, you know, what does that look? It looks like a novelty straw or something. And that, what does that say? Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, hello. So anyway, that was the last bit of the calligraphy that I tried to do. Because I thought I'm not going to do that, because the thing about doing the 100 Days project is you have to post it up on Instagram, so you're basically posting up stuff that you're not happy with, because it's the end of the day and you've done something and you've got to post it up, but it doesn't matter because the next one's coming along again. I didn't really want to waste any more days on doing calligraphy when I hadn't actually got it down, and in the year since, I've done precisely 0 any more calligraphy. Nada, nilch, zilch, zorp. This is a dragon that looks a bit sort of Ghibli-esque, but it obviously wasn't working. So I abandoned it. Yeah. Ah, Cyclonus and Scourge from Transformers the movie. I love Transformers the movie. I love Transformers. I never had either of these as toys, but I know people who did. And Cyclonus was a pretty cool aeroplane, jet type thing. I've done a number of these. I think I did some last year as well. The previous year of the 100 days. Transformers, face drawings. Obviously, I've done Optimus Prime and Megatron. These are two dudes. If I remember correctly, there's... Oh, no. D! There's the Doctor again. Oh, look at that. See that black mark there? I started colouring in the wrong bit of Deadpool's face. I should probably white it out somehow, but I can't be bothered. Deadpool! Boink. The Doctor. New Doctor. It's a woman now. Stop moaning. And Deadwood. Sheriff. Drink. Al Swearingen. Cocksucker. Yeah, D from off of my alphabet. I wish that hadn't happened. Other than that, I like this. I like him. It looks like Lovejoy, doesn't it? Ah, this is brilliant. This was like running a marathon. Sunday night, must have been a Sunday night. Antiques Roadshow was on. I'm a middle-class, middle-aged man, so I watch Antiques Roadshow and enjoy it thoroughly. And I thought, right, I'm going to draw everything that's on Antiques Roadshow this episode. And my God, that was, oh, wow. It was like rocking through all these things, and I'm like trying to sketch them out as quickly and as accurately as you possibly can. And then get down the valuation for these things as well. Obviously, I can't draw all of them. Like that one was an entire set of soldiers and carriages and tanks and stuff like that. So just get down the salient points of it. Some sort of bracelet going on there. This one was a bee squisher, like a pair of scissors, but with flat ends on the end. So instead of a fly swat, you had subtum, and I don't know whether you meant to catch him mid-flight, you know, and crush him like that. But yeah, weird. That was some sort of letter of something. This was obviously a picture of, I think it's a lion. There was a lion, a female lion, and a baby lion. That I've no idea. It must be some sort of glass work. Look at the price of it. Must have been some sort of blown glass thing. I really enjoyed doing that. But you know, Antiques Roadshow is on for an hour, and you've got to be constantly drawing for an hour. There's some things there. That was, oh, I mean, look at all the stuff on that one. And then when it finished, then I inked it all in, and then I did the shading, and made it look real cool. But that was great. I might do that again this year if Antiques Roadshow is on. If I'm sat down, you know, if the kids are in bed. Look how much that was. £3,000. I think it was just like a tiny. I think it was only like a tiny little thing with a doodad on the top. I'm not an antiques dealer. I don't know. It was a tiny little thing with a doodad on top. Next. I remember this one. I went to London. No, I didn't. I went to Liverpool to see one of my friend's plays that he'd directed. And I did this on the train. Well, I sketched it out on the train anyway. I did all the pencil work for a lion. I drew it all out. It was quite, yeah, it was quite stressful because it was like this woman sat next to me, and I'd got it out and I started drawing, and then she came and sat next to me. Then she came and sat next to me, and I suddenly got all self-conscious and went, "Oh, this has got to be the best thing I've ever drawn," and it really isn't. And then of course we went out that night, and I got drunk, and then came back and went, "Oh, I haven't inked my lion," so I did it while I was drunk. More tea staining here, because everyone's got access to tea bags, even if you haven't got access to watercolor paints or anything like that. So I just plopped a load of tea bags on there, and yeah, I mean it's all right. It's not great. Yeah. Aha. Not Harry Potter. John Lennon. That was the play that I went up to Liverpool to see. It was about John Lennon. It was called Lennon's Banjo, and it was like a treasure hunt to try and find John Lennon's fabled lost banjo. It was really, really good. And we got to chat to the actors afterwards. We went for a drink, and there was a dude who was in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, which was cool. And and I tried to ask him about the film, but it was just when the spy poisoning had happened in Salisbury. So as soon as he found out that I was in Salisbury, I was just talking about that the entire time, and he left, and I was just like, I didn't get to talk to him about Lock, Stock at all. He was just asking me questions. So just to reiterate, John Lennon, not Harry Potter. There's no Scar. By gum. Did this on the train back from Liverpool the next day. Obviously, the next day. It's another day, day 30. Eve, Eric Cartman, and E.T. That wasn't too bad, actually. Drawing on. It's really difficult to draw on a train because it's all wobbly and there's lots of people drinking booze and eating sandwiches, and there's a trolley coming by and people just want to talk to you and ask you stupid questions like, where's your ticket and why haven't you got any trousers on, things like that. So I drew it out on the train and then I inked it when I got home. Day 30, I think I'll stop it on that. Day 30, lovely. Join me again, won't you please, when we do more of the same. Thanks very much then, bye bye.